The views in the following program reflect those of the participants and not necessarily Rogers or Rogers TV. Hello everyone and welcome to Mommy Talk. Today we're going to take a look at a very special book, a book called What's Your Spaghetti? And the author of this book is Leah Dilley. Hi Leah, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for having me.
You're welcome. And we also have Christine Taggart. Thank you, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Leah, can you tell us a little bit about your family?
So I have a 6-year-old who's going to school here in town, Cameron Street, and I have a 9-year-old son as well.
Okay.
We moved up here from Caledon area to Collingwood
Awesome.
a couple years ago.
Very
Yeah.
good. And Christine, can you tell us about your family?
Yes, I have 3 children. I have 2 boys and a girl, ages 11, 10, and 8, and they go to school in Stainer at Clearview Meadows.
Awesome. Okay, and Leah, you are the owner of Kidz, and you are a registered massage therapist.
Yes.
Can you tell us about your background and why you got started working with kids?
So I've been a registered massage therapist for over 17 years. And so over the years, I treated many adults and helped them deal with their stresses and how to manage stress and that sort of thing. And then I had my own 2 kids, and my son in particular, I could see as he was getting older and coming into the school system that he was starting to struggle a little bit. And it was then that I sort of looked to see if maybe he was dealing with some stressors that we weren't really thinking would be stressors.
Okay.
And so I started working with him and doing some body work with him, and we noticed a big improvement in his focus. And
Through the massage therapy?
Through massage therapy, I started to take, I took courses called Brain Gym, which is like an educational kinesiology.
Wow.
So I did that. I've got my acupuncture background. So a variety of modalities to just really help the nervous system calm down.
Wonderful.
And so
That's great. So you must have a real passion for this subject.
yes.
And Christine, can you tell us how you got involved with Leah?
Yeah, actually, it was a friend that had recommended me. So her and her son were visiting with Leah and recommended it to me once I had identified with my one son some of the same attributes that Leah has just described. So I met with Leah, and she has introduced Caden to the brain gym activities and doing the massage as well, which he really enjoys. It's a great distressor in the evening before bed. Like Leah explained to me, a lot of kids will hold stress in their legs. So I'll massage Caden's legs in the evening when he asks me to, and that's been a real benefit. And introducing those things into the classroom. So Caden was really struggling. Things came about, I guess, when he was in grade 3. We started to identify some more behavioral issues, and then that progressed into grade 4. And the things that the teacher was implementing, we discovered weren't really working, and what Leah had introduced us to seemed to really work. And
That's awesome.
so I really pushed for those items to start happening in the classroom, and we noticed those differences. And what I was really excited about this year, Caden's teacher in grade 5 doesn't even know she's using those activities, but she implements them. So, and I've
so
seen,
great.
yeah, so he's doing fabulously well.
That's great. So this has really changed
Really
your
has.
son's life.
Yes.
That's great. So when we come back, we're going to talk to Leah and Christine more about the subject, and we're going to get right into this book and talk more about what this book brings to children and to families. So we'll see you when we get back. views in the following program reflect those of the participants and not necessarily Rogers or Rogers TV. Welcome back to Mommy Talk. So, Leah, can you tell us, what does stress look like in a child when they're at home or in the classroom?
Usually it manifests behaviorally. So we see kids in the classroom, they're fidgeting, they're bugging their peers, they're not quite listening, they're not focusing on their page or their work that they need to do. Oftentimes when they come home from school, there's usually some sort of outbursts, or they're sort of projecting with their siblings, or the parents can kind of see that they're not happy. There's obviously something kind of going on. For some other kids, it can manifest as headaches, stomach aches. When I worked at the schools down in Peel, Dufferin Peel, I would ask the kids, who here, feels they get stomach aches on a regular basis or headaches, and 90% of them would put up their hands.
Really?
So a lot of them are not comfortable in the classroom. Their bodies are not comfortable. So that's sort of one of the major keys. If you start to see kids are, complaining of headaches or back pain or that sort of thing, then...
Christine, what kind of symptoms of stress did you see in your son?
So definitely within the classroom, the fidgeting. Caden, one of the things that Leah helped Caden with holding his pencil, he held it so tight and was so rigid in his writing. So having a cushion on his pencil to help relieve that and let go of the stress in his arm. Yeah. I ended up with a wiggle seat for Caden too, for in his desk, because they're confined to their desk for a long period of time throughout the day. And my Caden is a busy boy. He likes to be moving. He'd rather be learning through doing opposed to sitting, always constantly reading, writing at a desk. He needs that movement.
And these were suggestions from Leah?
Yep, from Leah.
What you've learned from her?
That's right.
That's great. Right. And you've seen a difference in your child?
Yes, definitely. Learning to understand his body and how it's reacting, and emotions too, because when they're young, I think they don't really understand what's going on. So recognizing those and having those conversations, and then also giving them the tools to help regulate themselves.
Absolutely. Why do you think children are stressed nowadays?
Well, and it's interesting because when I work with kids, usually when we start the conversation and we start, for instance, when we talk a bit about the book, we talk with the spaghetti analogy. And they then finally start to express what is bothering them or stressing them out. They begin to kind of make the connections. A lot of the times their bodies are just not comfortable. So, if you're sitting listening to a lecture and your back is hurting and your butt's hurting, it's really hard to focus.
Yeah, you're like, you're not listening,
That's right. And so, or kids, they have circle time, and I went to one school out in Peterborough, and I said, okay guys, why don't you come sit down on the floor and I'll do this presentation. And I said, well, actually, if you want, you can sit on the floor or bring your chairs. And they all brought their chairs. So then we had the conversation about how their bodies feel when they're sitting on the floor, and they are not comfortable. Their ankles hurt, their backs hurt, they're kind of, their necks are all, so it's giving kids the option and allowing them to have the awareness of what is happening in their bodies to be able. So that's one of the reasons. I think some of the reasons is maybe lack of movement. Kids aren't quite outside. It's not so bad up here, but definitely down in the cities, they're not outside as much, not getting the physical exercise they need.
Would sometimes their home life have something to do with their stresses, and it's physically showing in their bodies?
Definitely, and they're busy, and that's why some of them might come to school with headaches or with stomach aches. And so the nice thing about the Calm Kidz is allowing the kids to express it, and then giving them the tools to be able to manage it.
So open up and manage.
And they don't it's not about the story. Teachers can't hear every kid's story about why, whatever the reason was in the morning, but they can just simply make a statement about their spaghetti when we talk about that, and they can do something about it. And that empowerment in itself just turns things around for them. They feel like they have more control.
So tell us about this amazing book. It's so beautiful. I've taken a look through it, and it's just, even just the visually, just for me to point out, it's just gorgeous, and it's so it's really really nice to look at. So tell us about the book.
Well, first, let me just put in a little plug for the illustrator, Johnny
Absolutely.
Kearns. He's in Collingwood, and he did a fantastic job with the pictures. And we really wanted to just make it fun for the kids and visually just something that's easy for parents as well to glance through and to gain some tools to help their kids. So when we talk to the kids about the spaghetti analogy, we get them to enact it in their bodies, so they can feel what the stress feels like.
Okay.
If they're tense and tight and angry and frustrated, or if they're tired or bored and floppy and kind of leaning over on their desk, then they understand they're not ready to learn and they're not ready to sort of do the work they're supposed to do.
So then if I'm tense, what kind of spaghetti am I?
Then you would be uncooked spaghetti.
And then if I'm lazy, I'm
overcooked.
Overcooked
Yes.
spaghetti. Okay,
Yeah,
so that's the analogy.
Yeah, and we have a good time role playing that, and they show me, they pretend they're spaghettis, and that's part of it. When they're physically actually doing it, they will remember it. And so also you're bringing fun into the equation too. So
Right.
it's
And does a
something-
child really understand? Like, I know after they read it, they probably do, but like the cooking aspect, you know?
Yeah. Most kids eat spaghetti.
Yeah, so
they
then they get it.
Yeah, and we talk about that. You're like, spaghetti looks like, so
Yeah.
most kids really
So it's
can
really
put
fun.
the two together. Yeah.
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 And how does this book help parents and teachers?
Oh, well, for one, it helps parents and teachers to recognize the body language
Okay.
and the behavior. So, for instance, my son woke up one morning and he was literally rolling on the ground like an overcooked spaghetti.
Okay.
And so I don't know what it was, if it just lack of sleep. It was just he was having one of those days. And
Yeah.
so I could say
We all
to
have
him,
those days where we
Yeah.
don't want to do anything.
we don't want to go
Yeah.
bed.
Yeah, you're
right?
almost hanging. You're almost hanging,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, I get the analogy. Yeah, it's
So
awesome.
I said to him, clearly you are overcooked spaghetti. You are not going to school like that.
Yeah.
And so then we were able to kind of recognize and get up and do some things about it
Yeah.
to get the body up and ready.
And what would you do to correct that then, if you are overcooked spaghetti?
Yeah, so overcooked, undercooked. So there's a variety of different things that they can do. And I'll just use yoga actually for an example.
Sure,
If the body is in fight and flight, say, so if they've been frustrated and angry, and there's a physiological response that happens in the body, so the calves will tighten up, the inner thighs will tighten up, their backs, their shoulders will get tense, their heart rates will go up. So they become aware of that when they're uncooked spaghetti. And then by putting themselves in certain positions, by stretching out their legs, they're actually releasing that reflex that sends them into fight and flight to run and to fight. So they recognize they can stretch their legs, they can do yoga poses, which is why yoga is so successful.
Right.
Because it literally signals the brain to be calm and to not fight.
Right.
So there's that. They learn how to do some of the brain gym moves, which is the educational kinesiology. So things to connect the left and right side of the brain to get to the executive functioning part of the brain instead of back into that fight and flight area. Then there's other acupuncture points, acupressure points that I show them if they have headaches or stomach aches. And different tools if they need squeeze balls or anything to kind of exert their energy.
Christine, has your son read the book?
Yeah, I've showed it to him online.
yeah.
There was a launching that Leah had, and unfortunately
Oh,
we weren't able to attend.
Yeah.
But he is very excited to see the book.
And he knows the spaghetti
Yes,
analogy,
he does
so
very much.
he's very familiar with,
Yes.
with her method of
Yes.
de-stressing and stuff. So you
Yes.
found this beneficial in your home?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
And just seeing Caden over the last 2 years, his growth and understanding and recognizing
Yeah.
and being able to implement it when he needs
Yeah.
is great.
That's great. And what's your ultimate goal with this book?
Well, my ultimate goal, this book really, if the classrooms are sort of teaching it to all the kids, it creates inclusiveness.
Okay.
So there are kids who are using wiggle seats or different tools to be able to learn, to calm their brains. And this sort of creates that universal language so that if the teacher starts to see all the kids flopping over, and then that's cue that, okay, it's time to take a break, let's do some movements, let's do some stretching. And so the goal would be for all the classrooms to be able to use this strategy and for all the kids to be able to have the tools so that they can live, not stress-free, but to have the awareness and the self-regulation tools that they will carry into adulthood.
Yeah.
And we self-regulate. We can do it negatively or positively. We reach for a glass of wine at night, and so
It's true.
kids need to have something that they can use as well. So
That's definitely true. You told us a little bit about your own experience with your son, but so I would assume your house would be so calm with all your knowledge and
Yes,
professionalism.
Yes, and it's a work in progress. I just want to say, and
Yeah.
it's never perfect, and I think it's really important for parents and moms and me. I struggle too, and I have, weeks where everything's kind of smooth and fine, and other weeks where I'm thinking, what the heck is going on? And so sometimes it takes a while for me to figure out there's a certain stressor that's going on, but if we constantly talk about the spaghetti analogy, we can kind of work through it and kind of get things back together again. So
Yeah.
it is always a work in progress and something that, we all go through as parents. Yeah.
But this book would definitely help parents become closer to their children.
Definitely.
Right? When it comes to communication
Yes.
and about their bodies and their
Yes.
feelings. And
Yes.
tell us a little bit about what your goal is for helping families to reconnect together.
Well, what I really enjoy about the book is when the kids come back to me and they say, Daddy's spaghetti was so
Oh,
overcooked.
that's so cool.
And they start calling the parents on their stresses
That's
too.
so funny.
So
My
then
mom was undercooked spaghetti.
Yes, yes. And
That's
so then
cool.
the parents put themselves into check
Yeah.
so they're working together to create an atmosphere that's fairly non-combative and that they all have the tools to tap into.
Well, and they're recognizing each other's emotions as
Yes,
well, right?
yes.
Like this book must bring some emotion out in families as well, especially when dealing, like, let's say there is stresses at the home for whatever reason.
Yeah.
This is definitely a tool to help families reconnect, talk about their emotions, and it really gives them a visual idea of what's going on inside,
Yeah.
right?
Well, and I think also it creates that understanding that the kids aren't purposely trying to be behaviorally bad.
Or
They want to
whatever,
please
yeah.
their teachers, and that's
Yeah.
one of
Yeah.
the big things.
Yeah.
Like with Caden, like but he just the energy he didn't know how to channel it. He didn't know what to do with it, and so being able to give them those tools to do that is. Yeah, so they want to do their best at school.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, naturally they want to. And you can buy this book on your website?
Yes, so the book is available on the website.
Okay. We're going to put the website on the screen for the viewers to
Yes,
see.
it's also at Elephant Thoughts.
Oh,
They're
wonderful.
featuring the book. They're featuring local artists
Great.
there, so which is a great store to do your Christmas shopping if you have to
Yeah,
buy
get this
some
book
great
for Christmas. And
yeah.
it's not even just for families who deal with stress. I mean, it's just a good thing to read. It's
Yes.
a good book to read for all
Yeah.
families for coming stress, or even if you're dealing with it in the current day. Thank you so much for being on the
Thank
show
you.
and introducing your book to us. This was so interesting and so good to learn about, and really beneficial for all the families that are watching today. Thank you, Christine, for sharing your personal experiences with the book and with Leah. And thank you so much, Leah, for
Thank you.
sharing your knowledge. And we really appreciate you coming on the show.
Yes, thank you.
When we come back, we're going to go out into the community. views in the following program reflect those of the participants and not necessarily Rogers or Rogers TV. Welcome back to Mommy Talk. One of the things we love to do is find places in the community to take our families and enjoy each other's company. So Esri and I checked out a great place today, and we did something special for charity today. So let's take a look. Hi everyone, we are here with Dave and Edith, and we're here at Operation Christmas Child Shoebox program. Can you tell us a little bit about the program?
It's a wonderful program, and it has been, it was launched 20 years ago, and there's a lot of, these boxes go all over the world, and we as Central Ontario, last year in 2014 collected 68,000 boxes, and in Canada alone there were 700,000 boxes that went from Canada alone. Worldwide,
10,662 boxes, and an estimated 400,000 individual families, school groups, and churches participated. So
That's amazing. And how does a family put together a box for a child?
well, you can pick up a proper made box that Samaritan Purse used, these ones that are behind us on the table, at a lot of churches and collection centers in Wasaga Beach. Our church, when it's open, has boxes. The Dollar Tree has boxes. The Chamber of Commerce and the IDA in Wasaga Beach all have boxes, and you can pack a box and bring it back, and they'll take it back for you. And we pick up, the week of collection is the 16th to the 20th in Wasaga Beach, and we'll go around on the 20th and pick up all the boxes, bring them back here. We've been averaging about 1,000 boxes from this area, and that's Wasaga Beach, Collingwood, and Steiner.
That's amazing. And what kind of items go into the boxes for these children?
There's a list that usually, this is a handout for everybody, and in the handout it gives you some gift suggestions, and they are such as dolls, soccer balls, stuffed toys, socks, hair clips, cars, musical instruments, and apparently the kids love those little musical instruments. They just love them over in the different countries. Jigsaw puzzles, skipping ropes, school items such as pencils, crayons, notebooks, coloring books, and then non-hygiene items that you can't put any of these in are toothpastes because the children think it's candy and they eat it.
Right.
Okay, but you can put soap and face cloths and combs and hairbrushes. And it's been asked that there is no candy goes in this year because
it gets stopped at the border of some of the countries, considered a food item. So if they find a candy in one box, they'll hold the whole shipment up.
Oh, okay, so that's something really to remember this year, everyone. When you're packing your boxes, no edible items, right?
No toy guns, no war games, anything like that, because a lot of the children are affected by them. And worldwide, in the 20 years that Operation Christmas Child has been operating through Billy Graham, and a lot of people know Billy Graham. Anyways, they've collected 240 million boxes, handed them out, and out of that 240 million, they only touch 4% of the needy children in the world.
Wow, that's so small, but so big though, still so big. I mean, the children probably just love it. So everybody get a box, get online, look at Operation Christmas Child, find out what you can put into a box, and come and meet these nice people and drop off your box for the needy children.
One more thing?
Yeah, of
If you go on the website, SamaritansPurse.ca, there's a link to Operation Christmas Child. You can pack a box live on the internet.
No way.
And pay for the items. They have a store. You sort out what you want in the box. One important thing is when you finish packing your box, we'd like a letter from you with a picture if possible.
Oh, okay. My daughter's written a letter here from herself to the little girl that's going to receive her box.
And the other thing is, you don't have to, but we prefer if you put $7 donation in the envelope. If you want to donate more, you can get a tax receipt. And the $7 is to cover all the expenses, including the shipping. And for instance, if you wanted to ship a typical box to Haiti and have it delivered to the door in Haiti, you're looking at about $120 through Canada Post.
Wow.
And we do it worldwide for $7.
That's so wonderful. You guys are really making a difference, and thank you so much for being involved in this program. It's obviously an amazing worldwide program that really benefits the children, and it's great for Christmas time. So everyone, like I said, get out there and get a box and bring it down. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's so wonderful. Esri had a great time packing up her box for Operation Christmas Child.
Yeah.
Thanks so
Good
much,
idea.
everybody. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you again on Mommy Talk.